You're tuned into the Barrage Sports Show.
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's the Barrage Sports Show. We back in full effect, man. The NBA playoffs are popping. I'm one of your hosts, Mike Barrage, the dad, and I'm here with my son,
Mike Burr.
Mike Burr always delivers. We have a hot show. It's a lot going on. Now, as of this broadcast, we're going to just take it from where the games are right now. Of course, by the time you hear it, it might be a few things change, but it's still going to be hot, hot, hot. And we might as well start with the biggest story coming into the first round, Lakers versus Portland. A lot of people thought Portland was going to upset the Lakers. In fact, Charles Barkley was like, Portland going to sweep the Lakers. But as of right now, as of Monday, August the 25th, the Lakers are up 3-1. Mike Burr, talk to me about your Lakers against the Portland Trail Blazers.
Well, yeah, I think as a great team, you know, sometimes you just got to get punched in the mouth. They came out game one, they were flat. They weren't really prepared for Portland. They looked dry. LeBron was real passive. And then they got punched in the mouth, you know. But then they came back and they handled business like a championship caliber team. The last two games, they were like 30-piecing them for most of the game. It was a blowout. It looked like it should have looked. So I think sometimes as a team, you like learn more from your losses than you do from your wins. And that's kind of the good thing about the NBA, because it's a 7-game series, so you can drop a couple games and then rebound and have those comebacks. And then obviously we see the last two games, they handled business and, you know, showed them who the better team was.
Yeah, Portland just too little. You know, when you look at the Lakers, that size, and LeBron James has never lost a first-round playoff series.
Right.
When you think about how many times he's been in the playoffs and he's never been put out in the first round, and some of the teams in Cleveland, he was playing with mediocre talent, mediocre to lesser talent. And for him never to be put out in the first round is a testament to the type of baller he is. Now, hey, the series isn't over. As of this broadcast, it's 3-1, but it looks like Portland is on the ropes. And Dame Dollar might be just a little tired. I mean, he gave us magic in the bubble MVP. CJ McCollum didn't slack. You know, Carmelo Anthony, I felt he overachieved. But now you can see, you know, he's off his magic carpet ride. So the Lakers are just too talented. When you have Bron, you have Anthony Davis, you have, you know, that experienced roster, KCP, the Morris twin. You know, it's just too many. Dwight Howard. It's just too many, you know, Kuzma. Too many weapons, too many tools in the toolbox. And they just overwhelmed Portland. Portland would have had to play their highest level of ball again, just like they did in the bubble, all throughout that series to beat them. You predicted Lakers in 6. I predicted Lakers in 6. But we both had the Lakers winning that series.
Yeah, it looks like it may even go 5, but maybe Portland sneaks out another game. And I like what they're doing defensively. You know, Dame came into the bubble hot. He was averaging like 40 points. So they said, hey, Dame is not going to beat us. So they're doubling him, trapping him as soon as he gets past half court because he can make it from out there. And they're not letting Dame do what he did all throughout the bubble. They're saying, hey, if CJ McCollum beats us, if Carmelo Nurkic beats us, oh well. But we're not going to let Dame just drop 50 every night. And I think that's something the Nuggets should take a page out of that book. Even though they won tonight, and now that series is 3-2. But
3-2, who's up?
Utah.
Okay.
So Utah still is 1 game away, and the Nuggets got to win 2 straight. And I think the up until this game, at least, I'm looking at the stats tonight. That game just ended. So Mitchell had 30, but they kept everybody else under 17 points.
Yeah, well, Jamal Murray had 42 tonight.
Yeah, Jamal Murray's been hooping.
Working.
But how they kind of got in that 3-1 hole was Murray has been hooping, and he's been going back and forth with Donovan Mitchell. But you can't let Donovan Mitchell average 40 points a night And then Clarkson is also averaging almost 20 points. Mike Conley is averaging over 20 points. And Gobert is averaging 17. So that, I think defensively, and you see how they got the win tonight, they held Utah to 107. Where the last couple games, the Jazz had over 130 points in each game, if you look at it. And that was really, I think, when they lock in on defense, they might be able to come back and win these last 2 games. But they kind of dug themselves in a hole here.
Yeah. And, right now, many people, they're giving a lot more hype to Luka, who deserves it. Mm-hmm. Just dropped the game winner over the Clippers, and the Clippers were the number 2 seed. Many people picked the Clippers to win it, including me. And Dallas is giving them the business. But I'm going to get back to Utah. But you know who has the most total points in the playoffs right now? Donovan Mitchell.
Yep.
You know who's averaging 39 points a game? Donovan Mitchell. You know whose team is up 3-2 against the number 3 seed in the West? Donovan Mitchell. So Luka could be the playoff MVP, but so can Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
Because he's been putting in that work. So, Utah, they're close to closing it out, but don't count Denver out. They're a resilient team, and they might be able to catch back up. They're down 2-3, but who knows? Now, let's go on to another good matchup that's now tied 2-2, and I didn't see this coming. Houston, OKC. Houston started off like they was in control. OKC, they're young with Shea Gillis, CP3, Schroeder. They basically, the core of their team is that 3-guard backcourt. It looked like they were on the ropes down 2-0, and all of a sudden they won the last 2 games. They've been overachieving all year. Now it's tied 2-2.
Yeah, and the big question mark coming into the series was Russell Westbrook. He still hasn't played.
True.
4 games in, and you see it's tied 2-2. And if Westbrook doesn't come back, I don't know if they can win this series without him. They're missing a lot of energy. The rebounding, you're already playing where everybody's under 6'8", and then Westbrook is probably the best rebounder on the team, and you see they struggle without him. But I think if I'm Mike D'Antoni, obviously this is up to Westbrook, but his this is the last year of his contract. I don't think he does. They definitely don't want to go out in the first round. I think if Westbrook can go, he will play next game though.
Yeah, I mean, he's a dog like that. He's a former MVP, and then he got an average, a triple-double for 3 straight seasons. He ain't no mark. He ain't just going to lay down for you. Westbrook is going to give you that business, but you got to be healthy, though. So we don't know how severe the injury is because I think if he could play, he would play.
Yeah.
So it could be something going on. And then Houston, I mean, let's be honest, dude. They shot, I think, 56 or 59 3-point attempts in their last loss. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah, that's and remember that's what happened against the Warriors when they had them down 3-2 a couple years ago. It was the same thing. They just kept shooting the threes even when it wasn't working. And it's like you have guys that can. Eric Gordon can easily score inside. Harden can get buckets inside too. Like, I know they live and die by the 3, but at some point, if every shooter has off night, and when your whole team is having an off night, they just keep shooting them up instead of let's get Harden in the post. Let's try to get some pick and roll action to the basket to get some easy buckets. But they seem stubborn. They don't want to, change the philosophy up. And I think another thing with Houston, I know they like playing small ball, but I think they gotta get some type of size because they get killed on the board.
The they get too little.
They get killed on the boards every night.
Yeah,
every night, and you just can't. You can't win a championship like that. You gotta have some bigs in there.
See, Mike D'Antoni's philosophy is if I could get he's doing like a law of averages type of thing or some sort of wacky, weird scientist, mathematical mathematical equation. If I could get 3 every time you get 2, and I get 3, and you get 2, and I get 3, and you get 2, I'm going to win. That's his philosophy. But with the 3-point shot, it's kind of like that old saying, you live by the sword, you die by the sword.
Yep.
You can shoot yourself into a game, but you could also shoot yourself out of a game. So that's going to be interesting to watch. A lot of redemption there. I know Houston wants to beat OKC, especially Westbrook. You always want to beat your former team. You know CP3 wants to beat Houston, so that we got to keep an eye on that one. Now, let's go to the next matchup in the West. The most exciting series in this playoff right now, Clippers and Dallas. But I want, before we get into the analogy of the games, and they're 2-2 right now. Luka the Don has been Superman.
Don Luka
has been fantastic. Just dropped the game with the night before. But one of our loyal fans, and we call them winners. So if you're a fan of the show, we call you a winner. One of our winners, Big V, my guy, he had a question for us. He said, if the Clippers lose this series, will that mean the end of Doc Rivers' reign as the coach of the LA Clippers? Because once again, they underachieve. They underachieved with Lob City. Now, if he underachieves with this team with PG-13 and Kawhi Leonard and Patrick Beverly. Now, his vote was no. He thinks Steve Ballmer, the owner, loves Glenn Doc Rivers. My vote is yes. He lose this series, Doc Rivers, I think he's gone fishing, as Kenny and Shaq and Chuck say. I think he's gone fishing. What you think about that, Mike Burr?
That's a very interesting question. Because if the Clippers, if you're a championship contender and you go out in the first round, you got to blame somebody. That's just how it works. And if you look at the roster, you got Paul George, you got Kawhi Leonard, you got Patrick Beverly, Harrell, Lou Will. So you can't blame the players.
Right.
The talent is there. If Jerry West is their front office guy now, and he's like, hey, I pulled off the miracle of the offseason. I got Kawhi and Paul George here. So you can't be mad at me. And then you got to kind of look at the coach and say, hey, we had Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan. We never even got to the Western Conference Finals. We never even had a chance to win a championship. And then now you got Kawhi and Paul George, and we lose in the first round. I don't know if he should be fired, but I think
No. Give me a definitive answer. If they lose this first round, is Doc Rivers gone, or do you think they're gonna keep him?
I don't. To me, I wouldn't fire him, but I would put him in the hot seat. I would say, hey, we need a championship next season, or it's over.
So that means no.
No, I don't think.
Okay, and I got another buddy of mine. He's also a winner. He's a big fan of the show, Mr. Henry. He says it's all PG-13 fault.
That's something I wanted to bring up.
But he's shooting 29% from the field. For when you add up people with a certain amount of attempts, he has the worst field goal percentage in the playoffs. He has been hot garbage, and every time you get on Luka, he getting scorched. So Mr. Henry, he's saying, one of our winners, one of our subscribers to the show, he think it's PG-13 fault. So you don't get rid of Doc. I'm different. I say, look, if PG-13 is not performing, Doc, you the coach, make some adjustments. He can sit down.
Yeah.
You can do something. So what do you think? Is it PG-13 the reason why this series is 2-2?
I'm not going to put it all on Paul George, but if you look at him, okay, during the regular season, he shoots about 45 from the field, 40% from three. He's very efficient. Now he's shooting 29% from the field and 22% from three.
Garbage.
And he's only averaging 15 points. So to get 15 points shooting 29%, you guys can do the math at home. So he's definitely one of the reasons when he's supposed to be your second option and he's putting up numbers like that, it's no reason why you're struggling. But something I don't like is I understand you want to stick to your identity, but if Luka is torching you every night, and we saw in the game winner, Kawhi's on Luka. They set a soft screen.
They switched.
And Reggie Jackson is now guarding Luka for the game.
He way too little.
You mean you got the claw? He's supposed to be the best defender in the league, arguably. He should be guarding Luka straight up all night.
Yep.
Or switch, maybe him and Paul George be the only people switching.
Yeah.
But to just say, oh, we always switch, so we're just going to stick with that. And then Luka's game after game, he's torching you for a 30-point triple-double. You gotta, as a coach, you gotta make an adjustment. So I think it's a little bit of blame to go around, but Paul George makes a lot more than Doc Rivers. so that's kind of how that math is gonna work out.
Well, as of this podcast, it's 2-2. Clippers and Dallas about to start tonight. PG-13 could redeem itself.
Mm-hmm.
So, maybe game 5 you have a big game. I'm not counting them out. The guy's a bona fide superstar, I don't think a tier 1 superstar, but he's a bona fide
he's
tier
a star.
2 superstar. Yeah. So PG-13 can redeem itself, but the bottom line is they gonna have to do something with Luka because he just is willing this team to a win in all facets of the game: passing, rebound, scoring, and making the big plays. He handles the rock so magnificently.
Yeah.
I got to give him a lot of credit, man. He is showing up and showing out.
Yeah, he's like a 6'8" Steve Nash,
Yeah, he is, man.
With a lot of strength, he's able to score down low. And to me, if I'm the Clippers, I think it's simple. You say, hey, Kawhi, I don't care how many screens they set, you stand on Luka the whole game.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be the best defender in the league.
Yeah.
Why even... you got to make some type of change.
Yeah, that's what you got them. Now, Milwaukee, they up 3-1. Bucks up 3-1. They lost the first game. Kind of like what you're saying. They got punched in the mouth by Orlando. Hey, Orlando, they're in Disney World. They're in the bubble. It's in their house. I'm glad they got them a win.
Yeah.
Just respect their house a little bit. Put some respect on my name. Mm-hmm. So it's good to see Orlando did get a win. But after that, Milwaukee kind of went into Milwaukee mode. Giannis Antetokounmpo. They just kind of turned it up. And the big center, what's his name? The starting center.
Brook Lopez.
Brook Lopez has been fantastic.
Fantastic.
And he was a franchise type of player when he was in Brooklyn for a little while and early in his career. And now he's just seemed to have a resurgence. Chris Middleton is solid. So they're playing some good ball. And Giannis, they're just a little too much. But I'm happy that Orlando did get one game. I caught the broom. I had the broom out. I thought they were going to get swept. But, hey, it's Disney World. Anything can happen in Disney World where the magic begins. So Mr. Walt Disney might have willed them to a win. He might have blocked something, kept it from going in the basket.
Yeah, I predicted them getting one game off. I thought the Bucks would kind of need that one game. But then, Milwaukee is taking over the series, and it looks like they probably are going to end it out 4-1. But we talked about Paul George struggling. The second option for the Bucks is shooting 33%.
Yeah.
37 from 3, where during the regular season, he was shooting...
You talking about Chris Middleton?
Yeah, Chris Middleton. He was shooting 50% from the field, 40% from 3. So...
yeah.
That's another guy, and he's only getting you 13 points a night.
Yeah, but I'm gonna tell you the only difference with that, they don't need him right now. They playing Orlando. He can get away with it for this round.
Yeah, for this series.
Dallas. He's not going against Luka. So,
but next round,
next round,
Miami,
right?
Who just swept the Pacers.
Yeah, he wet right now, but right now he could be wet. They only need a few players to knock off Orlando.
Yeah, I hope he's warming up.
I hope he does warm up. But remember, you said the key to Milwaukee. If they're gonna make that run to the chip, Chris Middleton gonna have to step up and be Robin to Giannis's Batman.
Yeah, he has to. Because like I said, they like you said, they can get away with it with Orlando, but we just saw Miami handle the Pacers and sweep them. Neither of us saw that coming.
Yeah,
and Miami. I guess we talk about that series next. They're looking good.
Yeah,
they're confident. They got hoopers.
Yeah,
Duncan Robinson is amazing. Tyler Hero, Jimmy Butler, Dragic, the Dragon.
Yeah,
Bam. They got a team, and I feel like they feel like they can win a championship.
Because when you have Jimmy Butler, when you have Jimmy Butler in the locker room, you got to add like 2 more feet in your locker room for his confidence and his ego. Like I said, you ask Jimmy Butler who the best player in the league, he'll be like, hold on, let me think about that for a second. Jimmy Butler. So give him a lot of credit. They took it to Indiana, and Indiana played well in the bubble. TJ Warren played well. He was right up in the bubble MVP votes and going for 53 and clowning.
Mm-hmm.
But Miami, once Jimmy B came back, they just let him know, y'all not even in our league.
Yeah, they really show that they're not just a strong team. They're one of the top teams in the East.
I'm telling you.
If Milwaukee dropped the game to Orlando, I don't know. The Heat might have a chance in that series because the way they play together and the way they shoot that three and play defense on the other end, they're going to really create some problems, especially if it's no clear second option. If Chris Middleton is still shooting 30% against Orlando, and now he has Jimmy Butler or one of their other great defenders on him, that's going to be a tough series.
Yeah. Now, think about the team Jimmy Butler left. He was with them last year, the Philadelphia 76ers.
Yep.
They got swept. Boston took it to them. And we saw their backcourt kind of trio of Kemba, Jason Tatum, and Brown. They put it on them. They looked faster. They looked better coached. They looked crisp.
Yeah.
Crisp. That's the right word for it. And they just took it to the 76ers. And let's be honest, the Boston coach outcoached Philly's coach. They just looked discombobulated by the end of that series.
Yeah.
And it got, Brett Brown? Mm-hmm. It got him fired. And unfortunately, probably deservedly so. Boston, as well as Miami, got a sweep. They looking impressive too.
Yeah, Boston is looking good. I think, and I know Jason Tatum is playing great. He's showing you he's gonna be a rising star, just like we're saying Luka and Donovan Mitchell, who Jason Tatum is, and so is Jaylen Brown. But I think the key, the X factor, has been Kemba Walker.
Yes,
he's willing to do what Kyrie wouldn't do for them last year. He's saying, "Hey, I know I'm an all-star. I know I can go out there, drop 25 a night. I've done it before, but I'm gonna let the 2 young guys take over, and then when they need me, I'll step up."
True.
And one thing about Kemba, he's always been clutch.
True.
You can go all the way back to his days at UConn, where he probably had, if not the greatest, one of the greatest individual tournament performances ever, where he put UConn on his back.
Oh man, he was sick in college, dude.
Yeah, it seemed like he hit a game winner every game.
I'm telling you.
And won the championship. And so we know Kemba is clutch, and he's hit some big shots for him. He's a leader. The team just gels a lot better. They're playing with a lot of confidence, and I mean they're going to have a real test next round because the Raptors also swept the Nets.
Yes.
So I think this is the real test for them. Now we're gonna see what the 2 young players are about. We're gonna see what Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are about going against the defending champs in the Raptors.
So that's the next matchup: Boston versus the Raptors. Raptors took care of business, and I like the way the Raptors won.
Yeah.
Norman Powell had a big game one time. Laurie's had a big game. Pascal Siakam had a big game. OG is playing well. They're a well balanced team. Fred VanVleet, he started dropping you like. They just hit you from all types of angles. Yeah. Serge Ibaka's had a big game coming off the bench. They just hit you with all types of angles. And they're a great defensive team. They're very well coached. They play within themselves. So what I mean by that is they don't just, they're just not going to give a game away.
Right.
You're going to have to beat them. And because they're not going to just mess up. They're not going to be off their square. They're not going to be lackadaisical or lack of emotion. They're just a solid team. They kind of remind me of the Spurs in their heyday.
Yeah.
Where they just play solid, fundamental, well-coached, well-defined basketball, and they shipped Brooklyn out of there. Brooklyn, in all due respect to them, 5 of their best players weren't there. KD wasn't there. DeAndre Jordan, Dinwiddie, Kyrie Irving. I mean, that's an all-star team within itself. But they showed up in the bubble. They were 5-3 in the bubble, but Toronto just showed them, look, we ain't even playing with y'all. Y'all don't have no players. LeVert, you good. Joe Harris, you good, but y'all ain't on this level yet. So Boston, Toronto, that's going to be a real good one. We're not going to get into that now. But for first round, those were 2 of the most impressive teams, maybe even along with Miami. So the East, usually the West is all the hype.
Yep.
The East putting in that work first round.
Yeah, it's good to see the balance with all the great teams. And, Toronto definitely took over that series. And you got to give a lot of respect to how the Nets played, not having, their best players, and they still came out, did well in the bubble. And they made the games competitive. I know the scores might not show that, but Karis LeVert, Tyler Johnson, Garrett Temple, Joe Harris, they were hooping.
Yeah, and they increased their stock. People going to be looking out for them next year, but that's not enough to beat Toronto.
Yeah, and Jared Allen is another guy. They got some young.
Yeah.
The future is bright. I don't think you can hold your head down at this. But Toronto, I like how they came out. They didn't come out like the Bucks or the Lakers. They said, hey, we're just better than them. We're just going to prove it. And then, like you said, that's the dangerous thing about Toronto, because it's egoless. Like, whoever is the high hand that night, they just going to feed them.
Right.
It could be Ibaka. It could be anybody. It could be the 15th guy on the bench. If he's hot, they're going to feed him. And then everybody else takes a step back and just plays great defense.
Yeah.
So that's what's going to make them tough to beat in the series. And, having Siakam and OG and all these guys on Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum for all 48 minutes, they're going to have to earn it.
Boy, them some young go-getters. And they got a little edge. They were 17-5 without Kawhi last year. And they want to show everybody Kawhi was our man. They never denied that. Matter of fact, they even thinking about voting on erecting a statue in Toronto for Kawhi just off one season. And you know what? I don't think that's a bad idea. He was magical.
That was a great season.
But they letting people know though. But it wasn't just him though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So hey, super producer April, hit us up. I know you got some facts for us. Come on, get in on this.
Well, Damian Lillard is going to be out for Game 5. He has a right knee strain. Oh. So see ya, Trailblazers. Yeah. Try next year. Right. A couple of the NBA 2020 awards have been announced.
Okay.
Nick Nurse won for Coach of the Year.
Toronto's coach. I love him.
And also the NBA Defensive Player of the Year was announced. None other than the Greek freak, Giannis from the Bucks.
Wow. He might be MVP and Defensive Player of the Year.
He obviously does it on both sides of the court. And he can guard 1 through 5. So, I mean, it's tough to argue with that. And I don't think anybody's going to have an easy time scoring on him.
Yeah, that's a good one. Anything else, super producer?
That's all I have for you all today.
Okay, all right. Well, let me ask, I'm going to throw something out at y'all. If you Portland, next year, do you re-sign Melo?
100%.
Why?
I think Melo fits in perfect with this team. He great chemistry fit. He's a vet, and he has been their third scoring option. But I think, and one impressive thing about Melo, at least during the bubble, he showed he's committed on the defensive end. I think this is the first time in his career.
Good defense.
Yeah, it's the first time in his career we've really seen him put that effort on both sides of the court. I like what Melo's done. I would, obviously the price has to be reasonable because they need to get some other pieces as well. They need some more defenders.
Yeah.
We saw with them adding Whiteside how that improved their team. They need to get some more guys like that. I know they used to have Trevor Ariza, but that's the type of guys they need to fill out this roster.
Yeah, well, Ariza's still there. He was hurt. He couldn't play.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Ariza's still there, but they could have used him.
For real. And then Nick Collins or Zach Collins got hurt
Yeah,
too.
Zach Collins got hurt,
Yeah.
but you know.
Because another thing about Portland, they only play like 9 to 8 people. You know, they have a very short rotation, so I think they need to fill up the roster, find some 3-and-D guys. Because you know Lillard can hoop, you know McCollum can hoop. I like what Melo can do. I like what Nurkic should do, but they need some other guys. Especially, they need a 6-man. You know, they need somebody that can come off the bench and give them a spark.
I think that was going to be either Collins or Ariza, but they're not there.
Yeah, that's why depth is important, because if you're only playing 9 guys on a regular basis, if one of those guys goes down, now you really shorthanded. You know, if they get some more players and open up that rotation, now if you're missing 1 or 2 guys, you can still play at a high level.
Okay. Now let me ask you this. This is kind of a comedy question. Are the Lakers going to re-sign J.R. Smith?
It's gonna be interesting.
No, they shouldn't have signed him in the first place.
I mean, he's playing big
That was
minutes
just for the
now.
bubble.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
That was a bubble. He already retired from the NBA, and he must still be friends with LeBron. Yeah. That's the only reason why.
It's good to know the king.
Exactly. I mean, he is an NBA champion, so.
Oh yeah, I ain't hating on JR. He made his bread too.
Hey, he gonna come up big for him in these playoffs.
No, bomb.
Watch.
See, now that's Mike being a complete Laker fan to say that J.R. Smith is gonna come up big.
I remember. You know? I'm glad we're recording this.
And he only saying that because he wearing that Laker uniform. But I like that. I like your dedication. So, hey man, it's been a real good podcast. And anything else you want to throw out there, Mike Burr?
No, I think I'm excited to see how these games are. Dallas and the Clippers are playing right now, so check that out.
That series so far, man, it's so much tension, so much drama. They physical with each other. It's a little nasty. It's kind of like the 90s. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, a lot of these games have been like that. Like especially the Miami series. Like some of the games, it would only be like 80 to 90. You know, like we haven't seen that. I like how the refs are letting them play a little bit,
right?
Letting them be intense, and it's a nice atmosphere. The players are really going at it.
They're going at it, man. I gotta give them a lot of credit. The bubble has been a success.
A huge
success. It has been a very pleasant surprise. Super producer April, you got anything else to hit us with before we pull out?
No, I think that's about it. Let's finish this up so we can watch the game.
Yeah, you know it. So hey, if you want to be a part of this, we on every social media platform. Check us out on YouTube. Like us, please. Subscribe. When you become a subscriber, we're going to call you a winner. That's going to be our new name for people who are part of the podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. We coming back with a lot more NBA playoff information. And guess what, y'all? The NFL is coming soon.
Let's go.
Oh, yeah. The NFL is coming soon.
The Bears.
So I hope. No, I'm sorry. But yeah, so the NFL is coming soon. We're going to hit that. We're going to still talk about some baseball because guess what? The White Sox, my team, our team, everybody in this house is a White Sox fan. Everybody in the Barrage podcast is a White Sox fan. They're in second place right now.
Yeah, that young talent is finally starting to develop.
Yeah, we're going to hit that up too. So stay connected to the Barrage Sports Show. Tell a friend. And guess what? You know how we do it. Mike Burr, drop the beat.